I wasn't expecting company, but if you stay out of the shrubs and flower beds, you can stay.
Give them a wave, Pops, now that you've invited them in. We're two old guys who enjoy playing Sandbox and survival games together. I'm Uncle Craig. Go ahead and sit down. Let's visit for a while.
Hey, this is Uncle Craig of the Two Old Guys. I don't usually have my own face on these videos because I'm not that interesting. But I did want to include my face this time because I want to cover some things where I want to make sure it's communicated well. And a lot of times seeing facial expressions and body language do a lot to help with that. So this rambling's, again, kind of in response to the things you're hearing a lot online there in the videos about the recent decision of PAX DEI to do the cleanup. And again, a lot of those perspectives come from people who are more gamers or MMORs and really don't understand truly well sandbox games, which PAX DEI is a sandbox game. If there's anything that makes PAX DEI unique, that's one of the biggest things, is the fact that it is a sandbox game. Now, everybody knows kind of first-person shooters. One of my favorite that could be considered a third-person shooter, but Halo, Call of Duty, things like that, I consider those first-person shooters. And we know how those work and how those operate, what makes them good, and so forth. You have MMOs. I remember Dark Age Camelot, Asheron's Call, most recently for me, Star Wars The Old Republic are great examples of that. And they include a lot of good storyline, some crafting and other things, and the social aspect, the clan aspect, and how you can organize yourselves and things you can do. But there's not a lot of construction. You might be able to buy a place and maybe hang things on hooks, but your place is in an instance. It's not really in the world, like with Star Wars. It's like that. And then you have open world games, and Grand Theft Auto, I guess, is an example of that. And there's other examples of open world games where there's storylines out there, some missions you can accomplish, and you want to be a certain kind of character. But again, it's pretty limited in terms of player content. There's not a lot you can do to change the experience of other people or yourself in that game other than just going right down the paths of the content that's there. There's a reason for that. The complexity of those games is so high that were they to introduce the randomness and all of the issues that can come from players building and constructing and driving content in the game, the computers could not keep up with the complexity. It just would not be possible. So then you have sandbox games. And in a sandbox game, the players drive that. We create that world. We create the storylines. We create the structures. My place is not in an instance. It's in the world. For the computers to keep track of that, the structural integrity issues, the how things interact with each other issues, and like with Valheim, the weather and other conditions that can actually destroy your place. How to know when that should happen. You include that, all the combat stuff that's included in that. It's incredible the amount of computer power that's required to make those things happen. That's not a trivial thing. Most sandbox games, therefore, are dedicated servers. A guy like me, and we have a couple of them right now, a guy like me hosts a dedicated server that people are able to come in and participate in. But in order to make sure that environment performs well, I have to keep a real close eye on it. In Space Engineers, one way they do that is dial in and say you can only build a certain number of blocks. And I know that's not strictly specific, but you Space Engineers guys, this is for those who wouldn't
Like, subscriber, get off my lawn.
Get PCU very well. You get a certain number of blocks per player. What you do with those blocks is up to you, but you're limited. And that's so that the server can handle the complexities. Or we'll also go and look for things that are taking up CPU cycles. So if somebody has a ship that's sailing off in some direction, they've logged off, that ship may be taking up a lot of CPU cycles, and so I need to go and delete that ship possibly, or stop the ship. Maybe somebody constructed what they did and put certain blocks together in a way that is making the computer work really hard when it shouldn't have to. It takes up cycles so that the game slows down. I have to adjust for performance. I sometimes have to delete people's grids, their whole building, their whole ship. As sandboxers, we understand that. Hey, I did something in a way that made things difficult. I need to start over from scratch. And we just do. We just start over. That's all part of the game. It's fun to start over. Well, let's talk about some of the things that PAX DEI that Mainframe is considering in this cleanup that's coming up. And let's put it in the context of a sandbox game. How are they doing based on that? Not experience for game players of other games, but for a sandbox game, how are they doing in managing this? Let's talk through it. So one of the criteria they have is a character not active for 28 days. Well, for our servers, usually it's 3 months, so it's 90 days, and we may or may not delete the person's whole existence, but they know that it will be based on that time frame. Is 28 days appropriate for this? It's an early access game. If you're playing in early access, they expect you to be active and finding bugs, finding issues, helping them improve the game. If you're there so long for the ride, as if it's a game that's in release, that's already been released, then you're in the wrong place. Don't play. But if you're going to play in early access, expect that within 28 days, sure, that makes sense. If you haven't been around for 28 days, what the heck are you doing in the world? So, and then also had the mentality, well, okay, it's 28 days. I got knocked out. Let me go and rebuild from scratch again. That's going to give me more of those experiences again of working through things to collect the resources and build what I want so that I have opportunity to find bugs and find issues and report them. That's what early access is about. 28 days, that's the right amount of time. Probably a little long for me. After release, let's talk about that again. They're not setting down rules for after release. This is early access type stuff. Character, owning a plot, been playing for less than 120 minutes. Okay, 120 minutes isn't that long in a sandbox game. We've talked about that in another video. We think of you as newbies until you've played at least 1,000 hours in a sandbox game, and then not really somebody to listen to when it comes to advice till you've been in the game at least 2,000 hours. And so 120 minutes in the game, if somebody has come in and spent less than 2 hours in the game, just enough to decide whether they really want to play or not, I don't want their plots taking up space on the server. I don't want the server having to keep track of their builds and what's going on there. Okay. So 120 minutes. Yeah. If you haven't been around for more than 120 minutes, take the plot. Total number of crafting events, 50. 50 is not much, but there's probably some people that did less than 50 and decided, you know what, this isn't for me. And they haven't been playing. Or they were thinking, okay, I don't like it the way it is now. Let's give it some time to change and I'll try again. Okay, then you shouldn't mind that your plot goes away if you haven't been crafting in there for, at least 50 crafting events. No big deal. Okay. Let's see. The total number of pieces placed in the area being 20 overall. Okay. 20 is not much. Okay. And I don't know if they're meaning foundation pieces, but even if they're only talking about actual pieces on the foundation, 20 is still not much. If you've placed less than 20 pieces, then you're not doing enough in the game to be worth having you in the early access. Again, early access is early access so that Mainframe can find out the issues that they have with their game and make changes. If you're not participating and providing that feedback, then I wouldn't mind that your place is pulled off the map. And if I wasn't around, okay, pull me off the map. Give my space to somebody else because I'm obviously not investing the time that I felt like I would in committing to an early access period for the game. Okay. Nothing was crafted, placed, or moved on your plot in the past 2 weeks by you or a member of your clan. Again, if you're not doing something in the game, actively doing something in the game to provide feedback and benefit for Mainframe as they're in this early access period, why are you here? I don't mind that they're taking your plot. I wouldn't mind if they took my whole plot that's right in front of you there. If they took the whole thing that I have built there and I have to start over from scratch, that's all right. If I choose to come back after you make a big update, then I will do this stuff again and I'll provide fresh feedback on what I think about the game now that you've done some updates. Let's talk about the fact that they are going to base this criteria on the only places being removed meeting all of those criteria. Well, to tell you the truth, if they just made it an or, if they said if your plot meets any of those criteria, we'd pull it off, I'd still say it was the right move. I also heard someone say, I don't think they've done enough. There's not going to be enough plots cleaned up. Well, I could tell you this, as a software engineer, you don't make decisions like they're making now about the plot cleanup without running some database queries and deciding, okay, how many will be removed? Will it make enough of a difference? Let's trust them. They're smart guys. If they came up with this game, they're smart guys. They're not going to go about pulling plots only to find out that only a handful of plots get removed. It's going to remove enough plots, may not be enough for some of us, but it's going to remove enough plots so that it should provide a little bit of relief on the servers to allow people who want to place plots and want to get started in the game the opportunity to do that. So again, guys, this is the perspective of not only a sandboxer, but an old guy. And here's why I want to make sure you see my facial expression. As an old guy, as a sandboxer, I want to look at you guys sometimes and say, stop whining, stop crying. If you don't like it, take your pail out of my sandbox and go home. All right, let the rest of us enjoy this without hearing the whimpering and whining and crying that you guys do all the time. Just have fun. Stick around if you want, leave if you want, but just stop being such crybabies. Okay, so guys, I hope to see you all in game. I hope none of you leave, but hope to see you in game. Have fun.